Hello, this is New Vision TV. I am Lynn Komjisha. The issue of vendors in Kampala has bothered Kampala leaders and traders in equal measure, despite efforts to take them off the streets, including building markets and earmarking a market day for them. They have remained a nightmare for the leaders in the city. New Vision TV looks at the origin of the vendor issue and the efforts to tackle this problem.
The standoff between Kampala city vendors and the police started Tuesday after the deployment of the Field Force Unit, which is usually associated with squashing political riots. The unlicensed vendors, who had more or less accepted the authority of KCCA enforcement officers, were provoked by the drowning of their colleague while fleeing a KCCA enforcement agent early August, and have since returned to the streets in defiance. Following the implementation of the KCCA statute in 2011 and the appointment of Jennifer Musisi as executive director, a crackdown on unlicensed vendors started. Although Lord Mayor Arias Lukwago tried to fight for the vendors, his position was no match to Jennifer Musisi's authority that is derived directly from the president. The crackdown intensified as Jennifer provided market stall space in places like Wandegea and Usafi. The outcry of the vendors was joined by a popular musician who composed a hit song, Tugambire ku Jennifer.
Well, this is the ghetto gladiator. Balirwa mande weruti, n'obugubanga bwatonye, lwachanga olunaku olulala naye mukozi balwakyuka. Muketo gyenjoleza emmotoka ku makya, ettira n'okufuna ekyenja. Andi kujenja, tukuze emmere ebweru n'alajana. Obusajja bwasalako omukazi omuna, kabukanga okukira ennumba. Kwemmere gy'otunda eriwo mbukyamu era nkukutte olu. Ebawamba buli kyalina amasuwaani masepiki n'akaaba. Bamubuuza nkuyambe kimama kuba osiranye n'angamba. Tugambire ku Jennifer, akeddezo omukambe. Tugambire ku Jennifer, ekibuga kyaffe.
KCCA did its best to provide for the vendors, and Jennifer Musisi even set up the Sunday street market as a compromise, where she had some streets closed off to traffic in the city center on Sundays so vendors could sell freely and leave the streets alone during work days. But this came with a fee. But the February 2016 elections de-established the new peace. Immediately after the declaration of results, President Museveni, who had won with 65% of the national vote, lost in Kampala again. He blamed Jennifer Musisi's iron hand for the loss. The vendors celebrated and opportunistically returned to the streets. Anarchy returned to the streets, with vendors taking over as a cowed Jennifer and her enforcement kept off. But the vendors were not the only opportunists. The city traders who operate in established shops used the return of the vendors to stop paying taxes, saying they were not selling. Uganda Revenue Authority collaborated the shoppers' claims, and government decided enough was enough. The vendors were evicted again. The hide-and-seek between vendors and KCCA enforcement resumed and has been on until the drowning of the fleeing woman early August. As a caution, Jennifer kept her enforcement teams at bay as the vendors returned. A boisterous Kampala Minister Betty Olive Namisango Kamya vowed to have the vendors evicted. Uganda police pledged to help the authorities to keep the vendors off the streets.
Law enforcement officers are threatened by the public. They are working under very hostile conditions. Yet the world over, the work of law enforcement is a legitimate and important job in ensuring that the public work and live in a city they deserve. Someone has to enforce law and order to ensure that people live in the city they deserve.
As police, we have agreed we are going to support KCC to make sure we start these operations, to make sure the city is orderly, and that's why we're in this meeting, and I believe soon or later these operations are going to start.
And the vendors responded, "We are not budging."
mulongo n'abalala bonna nga bwe babaddeko bazze bulungi nga babagamba mujewo ebintu baloti musaawo ebintu olabira ddala nga bantu bazze n'omutima gw'obuntu si byebire bya bulijjo.
You're still watching New Vision TV, and now for Pearl of Africa series, we take a look at Murchison Falls National Park. Now, Murchison Falls National Park sits on the shores of Lake Albert in northwestern Uganda. This is where the Victoria Nile River surges through a narrow gap over a massive drop. Wildlife to see here include elephants, hippos, and chimpanzees. Let's take a look. Murchison Falls National Park is in the northwestern part of Uganda. This park is managed by the Uganda Wildlife Authority. Sir Samuel Baker, an ancient European explorer, named the falls Murchison Falls after the geologist Roderick Murchison, then the president of the Royal Geographical Society. Interesting at Murchison are the falls, which create a rattling sound. These pass through a narrow path between two rocks covered with vegetation. Apart from the falls, animals of different species are kept in the park. Tourists engage in game drives to see where they are hiding. And that's all we had for you. Thank you for watching. Be sure to catch more of your updates on your mobile, on your desktop, on your tablet, anywhere on the go by visiting www.newvision.co.ug. I'm Lynn Komjisha.